Hi, it's Heather with another episode of my mold detox recovery process. Um, I spoke with my doctor today, and it's had been probably like 4 to 5 weeks since my last visit with her. And the news is pretty good. Um, we are starting me on resveratrol. This is from Gaia Herbs. This is going to be, yeah, a clinical dose. I'll be just popping. I'll get through this bottle in no time. I'm going back on the milk thistle. I was off of this for a week, and boy, did I feel it. I could tell right away. Within a week, I could tell my eyes were getting worse again. So it's nice to have that like clear correlation in that quick of amount of time to know that what you're doing is like on point. And then we're switching my antifungal to thyme. This is from a company called Herbal Vitality. This is a thyme tincture, and it's stronger than the Paudiarco that I had been on. But she thinks I'm ready to be a little bit more aggressive or assertive with the process. So we're going to give that a shot. We talked a little bit about testing. I was like, now that I've got some of my unemployment money coming in, I'd like to get some lab work done. And she wants me to wait. There's a new company that she's liking better. And then I made the mistake of listening to a podcast of a doctor who is on a similar sort of family of doctors that I'm working with, but has another sort of thread. This is a medical doctor as opposed to a naturopathic doctor or naturopathic doctor, however you say it. His name is Dr. Neil Nathan. There's a podcast with Dr. Ruscio where he talks about mold, and I'll link that below so that if you're interested, you can have a listen. I loved the way he communicated a lot of things. It made some things sort of fell into place for me, and I understood it differently. Just having a different voice is useful for that. But the problem was he really strongly felt that Great Plains Lab and Real Time Lab are the two mycotoxin urine tests that you want to do. They're really the only two that you really need, is what he's saying, because they tend to capture the bandwidth of all the mycotoxins that might be in your body, and then he'll use the one that has the most comprehensive results. And there was some other really interesting stuff in there too, but this my doctor wants to move away from Great Plains to another company. So this is one of the dangers of allowing more voices in, is because then you have to start, it creates some anxiety inside of me because I want to do the right thing, and I don't want to waste my money, and I want to have, steady and effective and progress instead of sort of chasing things around. So I'm going to have to figure out how I want to handle that. Up until this point, my doctor has been using Great Plains, so I'll have to do a little more research and ask her what she thinks, and if she'd be okay with me using the two labs that this guy's recommending, since she uses both companies anyway, and find out more about why she wants to switch. So that's going on, but those tests probably won't happen for another month, so I won't be able to give the results until then. And then the other thing I did is I've had a shoulder injury since last fall, and from moving, I had this like lower back thing start happening. Anyway, so I saw my chiropractor, who's actually a fairly brilliant chiropractor, competent at least. At the very least, he's extremely competent, and probably he's more like brilliant. But he uses a method called Corin specific technique, and that's with a K. And I can link you to more information about that below as well. But at all chiropractors believe that health starts with the health of your spine and your nerve, because that houses your nervous system, and it's just such an important part of your body. So anyway, he was looking at a bunch of things with the kinesiology, and without even me asking, tested to see whether I had COVID or not. And his testing methods show that, yeah, I had COVID, and yes, I have the antibodies, and yes, I still have a fungal and additional viral load, and it's centering in my throat, which might explain why I've had sort of like a choking feeling and a tingling in my throat. And he didn't know any of that, of course, before he just sort of said, this is what's going on. And I was like, yes, in fact, I do have a throat thing and it's tingling. So, I'm sort of a weird combination in that I don't mind woo-woo stuff. I don't mind things that are way out there. My feeling is that there's a lot we don't know. I will go anywhere mentally. I love learning about, energy and health and all these things, and I don't mind going way out there and trying new things and the gentlest things and finding really good healers, because those people exist. At the same time, I'm also sort of data driven. So he tested that my T cell function is good. I didn't ask again. I didn't ask. He just was testing. He's like, but your T cell function is good. Your immune system, you're able to fight stuff. And that's actually one of the tests that my doctor wants me to get from a lab, my natural killer cell function or whatever. So we'll be able to see how accurate the COVID thing was. But that makes 3 doctors now that think that I was fighting COVID this spring, as opposed to the 2 negative nasal swabs that I had. So anyway, that's the update on that. That's the update on that. And then of course he's also recommending that I include, he used kinesiology on the stuff I'm taking, and the stuff that I was feeling like I wanted to be getting rid of, he was also in alignment with that, with the testing, which I thought was like, is he either just reading my body or is he reading what my body really needs? But he started suggesting 2 other things that I should be taking instead. And this is where it gets really complicated for me. I've learned over the years of following a path towards healing and trying to figure out why I don't feel well and trying to feel better, is that you can get really, I can get really stretched by wanting to say, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I do that because I trust you in other areas. But it's just like, and it's not a matter of not trusting. It's just a matter of simplifying the voices and the stream of information. I think there are so many streams of information out there right now, especially, and and you can sort of pick your stream. And so it's really important to pick your stream, right? You kind of have to pick a path. And then it's not like you don't look around and get interested in other stuff, but you kind of have to pick a path. So the stuff he was saying made a lot of sense to me. It had to do with fish oils or cod liver oils for the vitamin D, and a probiotic. And there's some timing elements and ingredient elements involved with probiotics. So I want to take a probiotic, but maybe now's not quite the right time yet. So anyway, that's probably too much scattery stuff, but that's the update. I feel like the big win, and my doctor affirmed, like the big win is that I got into a new apartment, and I should sort of cut myself some slack for falling off my routine and lifestyle stuff for a hot minute and just celebrate the fact that I got into a clean place. What seems like a clean place. I'll have to test it. Okay, that's it for me for today. Feel free to check out the links below if you want to learn more about either Corin specific technique or totally blanked out. Corin specific technique. Oh, or the podcast. All right. Have a great week.